Okay, so thank you so much once again for hopping on the call. I know today is Sunday. Some of us, based on where we are joining this call from, we are already on Monday. Some persons are just beginning their Sunday. So for all of us to find out time to be here is something I believe we hold here, that we want to take our life from maybe where it is currently to a better place, and that is why we have um thought it wise to hop on this call. So we don't intend to waste anybody time here. One thing I want to promise you is that for every second you will spend on this call, you will definitely have value for your time. So it's not going to be a waste. We we really have a lot for each and every one of us on this call to benefit from. So for today's training particularly, we are having a mix of community or people joining from different areas. We have participants on this call joining from Ghana. I think we'll have the majority of them on this call as well. We also have people here. We also have some persons joining this call from China. So it's a mix of people from three nationalities. I'm also aware that some persons on this call may be in other part of the African countries and also other part of the world. But those are the major persons we have joining. Okay, Sunday Alexander is joining also from Qatar. So we have the whole world in this space right now. I would say so. So it's a mix of experience, a mix of knowledge, and all of those stuff. I will be sharing our knowledge and experiences together. So just feel free while you're on the call, and also maybe be close to your writing material because you're going to really hear so much. The person that will be taking us, our UK ambassador, is also joining us from the UK. I also forgot to acknowledge that. So we'll proceed straight to just letting us know first. Maybe I'll call Mr. Collins to give us the welcome address. He's the face of Shepherd Technology. So this training is brought to you courtesy of Shepherd Technology and also DaHel Technologies coming together to ensure this premium services or training is brought before you. Thank you. I also saw your name. You're joining from Burkina Faso. We are all one. We are all one. This training is so we can take Africa forward. All right. So, Mr. Collins, I'll leave the stage now for you to tell us please just a welcome address and also why you thought it wise that we should have this training for members joining in all of this part of the world.
Thank you, Bro Matthew. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Collins Asiedu Jeffy, the CEO of Shepherd Technology. I'm from Ghana. I'm currently residing in China. I've been in China for the past 8 years, and I'm very happy to welcome you all on behalf of Shepherd Technology and in partnership with DaHel Technology. Shepherd Technology was created with one main goal, which is to help young people gain practical digital skills that can open real opportunity no matter where they are. Our mission is to make data and technology skills simple, practical, and accessible, especially for students and beginners in Ghana and across the Africa. So these skills can be used to build a career and earn a living. Data analytics is no longer just for experts or people in tech alone. Today, it is used in almost every field, including healthcare, businesses, finances, and technology. That is why we are here and to help you understand these skills and show you how it can shape your future career. As our brother said today, which is day one, it's meant to prepare you to help you learn what data analytics is, why it is in high demand globally, and how you can start your journey in this field. The practical asset training will be follow up and on and on. This training is not just about learning tools. It's about building confidence, developing the right mindset, and preparing for long-term growth. There will be a question and answer sessions, as my brother said, And after the presentation, feel free to ask questions and participate actively. Thank you for being here. Bro, I'll hand it over to you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Bro Matthew, you can continue from there.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Collins. I believe you can all hear me.
Loud and clear, sir.
All right, all right. I noticed some persons in the chat dropping messages that they are not actually hearing that see that the voice is low. So that is why I always ask a question if you can hear me. But if majority are hearing me, then I want to believe it's the person's network. Maybe you could log out, then come back again to the call so you don't have that audio issue. So thank you, Collins, once again for sharing your insights with us and also letting us know why we are here from your perspective. So Mr. Collins have told us about Shapa Technology. When I saw the name of the company and the passion he have behind this training, I was just like I was laughing and in my head I was thinking you are really a shepherd. You know how to gather people, and you just want not this whole pasturing thing of a shepherd. Like, okay, I think Collins should be giving these people that in church, bishops like chief shepherd. I think she will call Collins on this called the chief shepherd of this particular training. He knows how to gather people. So why don't Mr. Collins for helping us put these numbers together. So why Mr. Collins or Shepherd Technology thought it wise that people around Ghana and other part of the world should be trained in digital skill. He also understand the need for experts to also organize such training. And for those joining us in Nigeria yesterday, we have the opportunity to know in details what the DaHel Technology is all about. The people in charge of, I think he mentioned something around the practical session will start from next week because we are not just here to say plenty of theories, all right? We'll also, as we tell you, this is what data analytics is. These are the opportunity therein. We'll also show you how to become a data analyst. So the firm company that will be helping us through the practical session of this training is the DaHel Technologies. There's a whole lot you can learn about the DaHel Technologies, and I will just say a few. I'll just say a few. Permit me to also just share my screen since persons will be listening to this call after. It's also good that they get to see something, especially based on what I'll be saying about the DaHel Technologies. I will not run through all of the slides, but you should just know a thing about the DaHel Technologies, all right? Okay. I believe you can see my screen. Just leave an emoji if you can see my screen. All right, thank you.
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right,
Yes, we can.
okay, thank you.
Yes, I can see.
All right. So the hair consultant and techies include
You
the hair
have to zoom
technologies.
in. Hello,
All
hello,
right,
Mr.
all right, all
Matthew.
right.
Good, good.
Is it
Thank you.
better now? I think it should be better now,
Yes.
right?
And
Okay,
now you
okay,
can see.
all right.
Yes,
So
it's
the hair
better.
all right, all right. Okay, thank you. Let's just mute our mics. All right. Okay. So the hair consultants and techies include DaHel Technologies, started as a consulting firm for non-profit, social enterprises, corporate organization, and private firm in the year 2016 in Kaduna, here in Nigeria. First registered with Smidan, the hair consultant have consulted for and worked with Leap Africa, Lagos State here in Nigeria, and also in Ghana. I know our Ghana brothers will be happy hearing this. So also in Ghana, you've also worked with Affiliate Academy Abuja here in Nigeria, Land of Hope Global Denmark, Lansing Community Center, Michigan, United States, Plan International, Washington, D.C., work with Sunrise Youth in Intervention Organization, Calabar, among others. Please, I think it's your network. You will see the slide, Gioma. I believe you also saw this slide yesterday. So, having noted the gap in technology as a group of consultants, the company began educational technology training and adaptation in 2018. She had a first training session with Instruct Institute in Abuja. So during the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, the company went fully online and has since attended to over 18,000 students across 6 countries. So in 2022, the head technologies was fully registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission of Nigeria. So this move enabled the company to get better exposed in Nigeria and the international community, not to mention a recognition by the United States Department of State and Department of Education through one of its founders. Since then, the DaHel Technologies has gone ahead to implement federal state government projects in Nigeria, like the 3MTT program and also the AI conferences, as well as collaborative projects in countries like Angola, Uganda, and Namibia. So that is just a summary of who we are. I will not bother to say so much about programs you've heard, the courses we offer, and other services we do in details. But it's also nice you know that, okay, aside data analytics, the high technologies in training people can also offer trainings around software engineering, cybersecurity, product management. Uh, let me just run through this slide. Product management, quality assurance, data science, and all of those other areas. So before I talk about our partnership, so as a technological firm, the high technology also have other startups in it, like the Quizali. Quizali is an educational, it's a digital platform that makes learning easy, fun-free, and also rewarding. So people can learn and also get rewarded. I was listening or discussing with a friend recently how he benefit or learns from survey. I was trying to understand how the whole survey thing is structured. And I was just like, this is not far from what Quizali is doing. But survey, of course, we know is basically for those that reside in the United States, right? So that is an idea of what Quizali is. If you want to see survey from that light, but instead of asking just or answering questionnaires and being paid, the Quizali is more structured to help you address issues as it concerns real educational problem in Nigeria. So we also have another of our startup called the Chikamo. Chikamo is to build trust not just among in Nigeria, but from all across African countries. We've heard stories, we've checked social media around information like what you order versus what you got. You order for a particular thing, beautiful pictures online. When they come, what you're getting is something that will definitely break your heart. Okay, and we noticed the gap in that kind of chain of delivery that we don't have people verify some of these items before payment are made. And most times when these payments are made, refunds are always a big problem. It's a headache. So Chikamo help you see how you don't get to worry because somebody will verify that item that it is worth paying for before payments are made. So that is another startup under the DaHel Technologies that is also building that trust so people can now confidently make purchase in the digital space confidently. All right. So the other startup is Ecuna. Ecuna is more of our climate and educational climate tech startup and also focus on renewable energy, right? So check all of those industries, the high technologies is saying to all of those problems that the world is facing, we are building something and getting them solved. All right. So we've had series of programs, we've implemented series of projects. Had said earlier that this is not the call to go into details, but it is also to let everyone on this call knows that we have the capacity, we have the resources to take you through the practical session and all what is involved regarding training you to becoming a data analyst. So You're dealing with credible people. You're dealing with people that have the resources, that have the experience, and all of those things. So feel free to say you're in the safe hands. All right. So you've heard from Sharper Technology. You've also have an idea of who DaHel Technologies is. And for today's call, it is not for us to tell you about who we are, but for you to hear from the bigger masquerade herself, all right? And that is our UK ambassador. I will not do plenty of the talking today. She will definitely do the talking. You will hear her. All of your questions should be tailored to her. I'm already saying, Mary, Uford, hands up. Please don't worry, just write your question. When our UK ambassador is done with her presentation, then you can definitely maybe ask all of your questions. And I know at this point you'll be asking yourself, who is this person that wants to engage us in the next couple of minutes or hours? So permit me to introduce to you before we call her on stage or to unmute her mic, Madam Chidima Onuo Onuegbu. Chidima is a senior data analyst with NHS United Kingdom, where she leads in data strategy and program evaluation. She is a certified data management professional with DAMA, an IBM certified data professional with a leadership and people's management certification from CML. Chidima's interest in the use of application of data led her to explore a training with Imperial Executive Business School, London, in data strategies for leaders. She has a bachelor degree in medical laboratory sciences from University of Nigeria and a master's degree in biomedical science from Leeds Pickers University, United Kingdom, where she graduated with a distinction. She is currently a doctoral student with interest in public-private health data integration. Chidima has a track record of applying scientific and analytical techniques to solve real-world problems. Previously, she has worked as a business data analyst and performance analyst at More Life UK and Firstboss UK, respectively. In this role, she led and supported the design management.
Please, your voice is muted. Can you speak louder, please?
My voice is muted or I'm far from the mic.
It was far from the mic, sorry.
It was far from the mic. Is it better now?
Yes, please, it's okay now.
Yep, it's okay. Mm.
Okay. All right, I'll continue. I hope it's still okay, right? Is it
Yes.
still okay?
It's loud and clear.
All right. All right. So in this role, she led and supported the design, management, and analysis of data and data governance processes to track KPIs and provide insights to senior level management. She improved data quality within the organization by designing a bespoke data quality assessment framework and train other data users within the organization on how to follow and implement this framework in getting the best out of their data. Prior to that, Chidima worked as a biomedical scientist and lecturer at Excellence Medical Diagnostics Laboratory in and Abia State University and College of Health. In that role, she supported the provision of person-centered healthcare to people within and beyond Abia State through Abia State through correct diagnosis using diverse patient sample as well as training and coaching younger medical laboratory scientists and technicians to gain competence as fully accredited medical laboratory professionals. Chidima loves to coach, motivate, and support people around her to live their best possible lives. These lines for me. Using her social media handles, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn, I'm very sure by now you should be running there to check for her. She entertains, educates, and share knowledge around career development, progression, and professional growth in very relatable ways. She is the lead career coach at DaHel Technologies, an educational technology firm. Outside of work, Chidima is a wife to one husband, a mother to three children, a preacher of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to start feeling our energy now because I'm about to announce the bigger masquerade. Like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's just leave some emojis as we welcome our moderator our speaker for today, our UK ambassador, Madam Chimdi Nma.
Hi, thank you.
Okay.
Well, hi.
Good evening, everyone from where I am. Can you please confirm that you can hear me okay?
It's
If you
loud
can
and
hear
clear,
me okay,
madam.
please just
Yes,
give me
loud
thank you
and
Good
very
clear.
much.
evening too.
All right, amazing.
Salute continue. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Collins, for your welcome address, and thank you, Mr. Matthew, for that beautiful reading. I almost forgot it was me you were talking about. Okay,
You're welcome.
I need to speed this up and we need to run as fast as we can because I need to be out of here in 1 hour because I have a little baby that will need my attention once it's after 8:30. So I need us to be as fast as possible. And some ground rules, please. If you're going to be on this call, would you please mute your mic? And I would like you to be on mute throughout this session until it is time for the question and answer sessions. I'd like you to make use of the chat box as effectively as you can and make use of the emojis as well, which I'm going to be asking you to do. The reason I'm asking that you go on mute is so that we'll have minimal distractions. As you get along, if you have any questions, please write them down in the chat box or write them down in your notebooks. I heard Mr. Matthew telling you to have some, notes around, which is very handy, which is very good. So please write them down so that at the end of the session, we'll ask all the questions and then pull them all together. I understand we have a mix of people here today from Ghana, from China, from Nigeria, and then those joining us from all other parts of the world. I wish I were multilingual. But all I know to speak at this point is English language and Igbo language. And so I'll say you are very welcome to this session. I did a little bit of looking up of some of what welcome and thank you means in the other languages, but I'll save that for now so I don't bite my tongue. So we'll get straight into it. I will attempt to share my slides and I'm hoping that everything goes well. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. I'm very good. I'll speak from my heart and then we will crack on. So let me attempt sharing my slide now. And when it comes on, Mr. Matthew, if you are still on the call, I would like you to let me know when when my slide comes on. All right.
Okay, the slide is on.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So we are going to go straight on. As had been said earlier, this is not going to be a hands-on session. It's an introduction session for you to understand what you're about to get yourself into. And again, for you to be able to question your motives and find out, is this really where I want to be? That's the part of this I'm not sure that the health techies would like because it's one thing to say I want to be in the data system ecosystem. It's another thing to come to that realization of gaining clarity around it to know, do I really want to be here? So that's what the session is about. So you gain some clarity around why you're here and be confident that you want to be here. And like we said earlier, my name is Chimdi Nma Onwebu. So getting straight into it, our outline for today, they're going to be very brief introduction. I know an introduction has been done before, And then you've also heard a lot about me. So the first thing we're going to do right after now is that I want to know a little bit about you as well. And then after that, we're going to talk about data. We're going to talk about information and information technology. And then we're going to bring them all together and talk about what value do they bring. We're going to go into data ecosystem. What's data all about? Who are the people that use data? How do they use data? And then we're going to go into data analytics, which is what I think you have come to do. And at this point, I've realized that a lot of people get to realize that this is what they thought they came to do is not what they want to do. And it's okay, because that's what DaHel Tech is about. It's about providing you a holistic understanding, a holistic clarity on what this is about so you can make informed decision, because that's what data is about. And then after that, we're going to talk about, after your training, what next. So going straight into it, please, I have this tall, fine glass of wine. If you can, please reach out and take a sip. Just take the cup, and when you're done, pass it around to other people around you. But while you are doing that, I'd like you to please put it in the chat box, your name, your location, what you do at the moment. Please feel free. If you are doing nothing, just say unemployed. If you're a student, say you're a student. If you're a priest, say you're a priest. If you're a governor, say you're a governor. So I just want to get a mix of understanding of who is here. And like I said, let me start from myself. My name is Chimdi Nma. I'm currently speaking to you from England, and I am a senior data analyst. That's what the title says. But what I do is actually lead on data strategy and program evaluation. So where we go in the chat, I'm coming right there now. So my screen may go off. I want to see what your name, where you're joining us from, and what you do. We just have a couple of seconds to do that. All right, hit me. Let me find my way to the chat. Okay. So Ekemini, your name sounds very familiar. I think I've seen it before. Accountant, civil servant. Okay. Samuel from Ghana. Chidima, where are you joining from? Linda from Uganda, an operations manager. Thank you, Linda. Patrick, a training manager from at a five-star hotel. When I come to Abuja, I'd like to see you, Linda. Ozuma, a researcher. Eric, in Ghana, a teacher. Ijoma, River State, a teacher. I love it when I see teachers here, because teachers, you really need this training. Sylvester, Ijoma, a teacher from River State. Sylvester, unemployed, looking to career switch. This place is definitely for you. You're welcome. Sunday says he speaks English and French. Thank you. Dorcas, where are you joining us from? Edward from Ghana, a teacher and an MPhil student. Reverend Collins from Ghana, a pastor and entrepreneur. You're welcome. We have about 40 people here, so if I keep saying this, my mouth is going to hurt, but I'm going to try as much as I can. Peter from Nigeria, an entrepreneur. Shekoya Galadima, a law research officer from Abuja. Mary Oford from Nigeria and works with an NGO. Ngozi is a beautician from Nigeria. Hi, I love beauty. I like to look good. Emerson is from Nigeria and is a student and a researcher. Awesome. So I can see that we have a podiatrist here from the NHS, Tosin. You're welcome. You're very welcome. I've been doing a little research about, all the allied health professionals, and pediatrics seems very interesting. You're welcome. Engineer Tahiru from Ghana, an IT coordinator. Ebeno Asukwo is from Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria, an interior designer. When I might need you at some point. Okay, Peace is joining from Lagos and is an accountant and operations manager. Amazing. Samuel is from Ghana, is an accountant. Beautiful. So I can see we have a mix of people here from different locations, from different places. We have teachers, we have a clergy, we have entrepreneurs, we have students, we have the unemployed, we have civil servants, we have engineers, we have data entry experts, we have operations manager, we have so many different things from here. And this is simply amazing. So thank you very much for sharing that. And as we go on, we will get to see where that fits in. Mr. Matthew, please, once again, can you let me know that my slides are back on? Are my slides back on, Mr. Matthew, or Mr. Collins, whoever can? Is my slide?
Yes,
Place
yes,
your slide is on.
yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Your slide is up.
Thank you very much. So we will proceed straight away because I have very limited time. I'm actually checking my time because I need to finish early. Now, we're here, we're saying we want to do data analytics. Yeah. So what is data? And each time I come to this call, I give this example that I saw from Facebook some time ago. So if you've been on this call with me before, I'm sure you've heard what I'm about to say. I saw this picture. I don't know how I lost it because I know I saved it in my phone, but I've looked for it. I couldn't find it. I have this picture. I nipped it from Facebook where someone in a chat was asking another person, what do you do? And the person said, oh, I'm a data analyst. And the person said, oh, wow, you're a data analyst. Awesome. Please, how much do you sell MTN 200 gig? Like, I couldn't get my head around it. In other words, this person understood data to mean data bundle. So please, if you're on this call and you think that data is what you buy from MTN or from Glo or from EE or from any other of your telecom communications, permit me to please tell you today that what you buy from them is data bundle and not data. So data, what is it? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what is information. We're going to talk about what is information technology. Now, what is data? Data is simply raw facts and figures, full stop. Data is simply raw facts and figures. So, for example, we are on this call, and as at the last time I looked at the chat to look at how many people were on this call, I saw that we are roughly 50 people on this call. That's a fact. That's a figure. And then when I looked at the faces of people, those who had their pictures displayed when they're off camera, I could see that they are real human beings. So I don't have zombies here because they are not, their names attached to that. So that's a fact. The fact is that I have people on this call and there are about 50 people. That is data. On your phone, I'm sure that when you open your phone, you have loads of applications there. In fact, some of the applications on your phone, I'm sure you never opened them before. I cannot be the only one who has more applications on her phone that she's never touched. And then if you take some time now to go and take a head count of those applications, you will find out that there are just so many, and that there are even some that you didn't know were there because some of them will follow come with the phone. It's a fact that you have a phone. It's a fact that you have applications on your phone. And if you count the number of applications on your phone, figures, that's data. You are a teacher. You have a class, you have classes in your school. The fact is that there is a school and it has a name, and that you have about 1,000 students in your school. That's data. Data in itself doesn't make sense. It doesn't. In fact, during my data strategy training, data strategy for leaders training with Imperial College, during the very first session, the first thing we were told was that as at 2023, there were tens of thousands of zettabytes. What you have in your phone, what you buy from MTN is gigabytes. And it takes 1 trillion gigabytes to make 1 zettabyte. And that there are tens of zettabytes of data in the world. So the fact that we have social media, the fact that we have smartphones, the fact that we have Internet of Things, the fact that we have Google and AI has exploded data, that there's so much data everywhere. But how useful is data? Data can only be useful when it becomes information. So information is simply insights we get from data. Now, back to what we've done. If I go back to the charts again to take a look at the things that be there. Now, I am mindful that this call is recorded. And so DaHel Techies, and I want to assume Shepherd's Technology as well, would have this recording when it's done. When they take this recording away, it is data because it contains all of our faces, our names, what we do, where we're joining from. So it is data. They could take it and dump it in their Google Drive or OneDrive or what else, whatever database it is where they're saving it. But until someone takes this recording and then begins to go through all of the information we've put in the chat, and begins to go through all of the data we put in the chat, that's the only time this recording will become useful. So recording this is okay, but it's just data, it's raw facts and figures. But until someone begins to dissect it, to say, we had about 50 people on this call. How many of them were male? How many of them were female? At what point did people join in the most? Now, how many people actually registered for this cohort or registered for this program? And how many people actually attended? That's insight from the data. They will now be looking at what are the different roles of people that join this call. That's insight. It begins to help the both companies, both Shepherds and DaHel, to further plan next time for the kind of people or quality of people or caliber of people that have joined the call. Using the example of the Reverend, because I'm going to use that, I'm a little biased because I'm a preacher as well. In your church, I don't know what your church is, but in my church, there's a head count every Sunday or every Wednesday when we come to church to find out how many people actually attended. Now, it is one thing to take that head count, but until you sit down you collect actual data from your church to find out how many of them are male and female. At what time do people actually come into church? If you have a login system, how much do we get in revenue? If 1,000 people came to church and we had 1,000 in offering, that means that everybody gave 1 naira or 1 cedi. And then you can use that to begin to make projections. Let me not go there first. And then next, what is information technology? Information technology is simply the tools that you use to transform data into information. And we're going to see all of those tools down the line. So when you have things like your Google Sheets, your SQL, you have things like your phone, you have AI, you have laptops, you have, whatever it is that you can use to transform your data into information. That's is information technology. Now, I'm trying to explain these things in the simplest way possible so that it sinks in. You have your phone. You can always go to Google. You can always try to look into all of what they are and then get some textbook definition of them. But I just want to ask at this time, does this make sense? Do you understand what data is, what information is, and what information technology is? Amazing. Can I get some more reactions? I can see Linda, I can see Mazi, I can see Indiana. Can I get some more reactions? Sunday, Tosin, can I get? I need to see 10 more people react to this. Peace, Joy, John. All right, thank you, Collins. Amazing. All right, so I'm going to go right back now to my screen so we can continue speeding up. Great. Now that we know what all these things are, what is the value that they bring? Why do we need to know them? Why are they important? Number one, they enable you make smarter decisions. Imagine as a teacher that at the end of every term, you are able to collate the results of your students. And then when you collate their results, you sit down and then you grade them for the schools, if your school actually does great results, and then first position, second position, third position. Now, with the knowledge of data and data analytics, you shouldn't just stop at that, saying, oh, this person came first, this person came second, this person came third. Another level of insight would be the person who actually took the first position, what was their CPG or what was their average score? A first position with a 99% average score is not the same with a first position with an 85% average score. And so if you find out that consistently in a particular subject, students who come first position are always getting 80s, 70s, then it is time to go query the teacher who delivers that subject to say, what's going on? Is there something wrong with your study delivery? Is there something wrong with your preparing your lessons, or do you struggle? And then if they now tell you, oh, this is where I have a problem, you can now begin to readjust. When you use data and get information from it using tools of information technology tools, you are able to get deeper understanding about things and make better decisions. An example would be that your organization, the person who said that they are an entrepreneur, let me just assume that you own a shop, that you are a tailor or a seamstress, you sew clothes. And so you gather data. You don't just assume that you get 10 clients a day. You actually gather the data. You analyze it using information technology tools. You would realize what type of clients do I get that give me the most money? I'll give you a very simple example from someone I provided a personalized coaching to. So this person came to me to learn Microsoft Excel personally, not with DaHel. And then one thing I do is that I provide this sessions I used to for very busy people that can't fit into schedules. So one of this lady told me that her mom sells fruits. So we use her mom's fruit business as an example. And I said to her, which fruit do you think gives your mom the highest profit? And she said, I think it's the oranges. And I asked her why. She said, because that's what we sell the most. And I told her, okay. With the knowledge of what you've gained now, I want you to go back. Take stock of your mom's sales. So both the quantity she buys and the quantity she sells. So she learned Excel, and then she was able to make that input, and then she put in everything that was sold every day for 2 weeks. She came back to me and said, wow, I've just realized that even though my mom sells more oranges, more profit comes from apples than oranges. Why is that? The cost of one apple is 3 times the cost of one orange. And so while there are fewer people that buy apple, if she sells 5 apples, she's already made more profit from it than she is making from selling 30 oranges. Then that helped her to begin to make smarter decisions, to make sure that she has more apples, so that even if she has less people coming in, she will still be able to make more profits. So it helps you make smarter decisions. Number 2, it helps you, data, information technology helps with efficiency and innovation. Imagine an organization that, say, a hospital that has shifted from just counting the number of patients who come to actually using information technology tools, getting their data and organizing them in spreadsheets, getting them into SQL database. If you don't know what that is, that's absolutely fine. We're going to talk about it eventually, and you're going to see what it is as we progress in the course. And then they get an actual SQL database where they put in their data, and then they get a data analyst or anyone with data knowledge to make those systems flow. So they no longer wait for somebody to come into the reception and then they write their name by paper, and then they take the paper to go and give the doctor, and then take it from the doctor to the lab, and all of those. What happens if they have a system with information technology and these tools? Someone comes into the reception, they get all of the information, and with one click, the data of that person goes to the doctor, goes to the lab, goes to radiology, goes to everywhere. It makes for efficiency and automation, and life is easy. Imagine that example I gave, or let me give another one, of a teacher, because there are lots of teachers here. The teacher that after now, when you learn Excel, you go back and begin to use Excel to compute your students' results. When I was teaching Microsoft Excel, one of the highest group people I got with teachers, and I asked a question. And when I was still on Facebook, I'm on Facebook break for now. One of the questions I asked some people on Facebook was, as a teacher, how long does it take you after exams to compute your students' results? Some told me 1 week. Some said 2 weeks. And I said, do you know that if you learn Excel, you can actually compute your student result? I mean, compute the result of 1,000 students in 5 minutes or less using just simple functions. You become more efficient, so that while it's taking your colleagues 1 week or 2 weeks, to compute students' result, it's taking you 1 day, and you've added in your result, and you have the rest of your 4 days to drink wine and cross your legs and roll about. Efficiency. Another thing it does is that it gives you competitive advantage. Oh, after now, some of you might realize that what you need is not really a career switch. What you need is simply to level up with what you will learn from here in your current job. Why? Understanding how to use data, how to turn data into information, using information technology gives you an advantage. So if you used to write out, let's say you are a salesperson and you're working for someone, or you are an entrepreneur and you have people working for you, and at the end of every day they come to tell you, Oga or Madam, we had 20 people that came today, and they brought our total income was 10,500. They write it on a piece of paper and give it to you. Now imagine that you understand how to use these things, and then as an employee, instead of writing it on a piece of paper, you learn how to put data into Excel. You learn how to create dashboards in Excel. Let's not even go to Tableau or Power BI. You learn how to create dashboards in Excel. So instead of writing out that information or summary of the day in a piece of paper, you now do it in Excel. Put in one small pivot table, a small chart, a small dashboard, and then you carry your laptop or your tablet or your phone, and then go to your Oga, and then you're showing them on the phone. See, we did this today, did that today. If they were paying you 1 naira, they should know they should start paying you 5 naira, or else you have a competitive advantage. Now it's time for you to check out. What do you think? I mean, so understanding this is the value that understanding data and being data literate gives you. Do we understand what this is and the value we get from this? Can I get a thumbs up? Are you still following me? Yes, no? Yes, making sense? Absolutely. Thank you. All right, let me speed up. I have less than 30 minutes. Amazing. Okay, I'll go straight on. So let's kick on and go straight into what's left. So on our next slide, I'm going to be asking us a question now, and I'd like you to put in the chat box. We've talked about data, we've talked about information, we've talked about information technology. But before you can even start using data to turn it into information, using information technology tools, you need to gather the data, Abby. Now, what is your favorite data gathering tool? Just tell me. On my left, I have, do you prefer to write with pen and paper, or do you prefer typing on a keyboard? So in the keyboard here, I mean, it could be your phone, it could be your laptop, it could be anything. What's your favorite go-to? So when I talk about data, remember that I said data is just facts and figures. So if you're in the church and the pastor is preaching, or the imam is preaching, or whatever you believe in, what do you use to take your notes? Do you use pen and paper? Do you type on your phone? In your shop, what is your go-to? Do you use pen and paper? Do you type? Why? I'm coming to the chat now. Tell me, what's your go-to for data collection? And no answer is right or wrong, so don't even bother. So what's your go-to? Typing. Someone said typing, okay? Pen and paper. Never do, I'm with you. It's pen and paper for me. This is my work deck. I have lots of books everywhere around me. I have so much books, so many. All of these ones, the black, blue, red, green, they all have something that they do for me. So the only time I use my phone or my keyboard is when I don't have a pen and paper. Once I have a pen and paper, it's pen and paper for me. And you see, the thing with pen and paper for me is that if I write it with pen and paper, it gets into my head. I don't know if it's just a me thing. Is anybody else who feels that way? If I read and I don't write with my hand, like use my hand and write, I feel like it's not entering. But the moment I read and I use my pen like a local girl and write it on a paper, it gets into my brain, it sinks in. I use a Samsung, and I have my Samsung notes, and I have loads of notes in my phone. But you see, those things I write in my notes, until I go back and revisit them, it's as if it doesn't stick. So now, some people might say pen and paper is analog and then using keyboard is digital. You're right. Whichever way it is. The reason I've put in this slide and this question is to please encourage you, gather data. In your business, gather data. In church, gather data. In school, gather data. Whether it is pen and paper, or whether it is keyboard, or gather data. Gather data. I'll give you a practical example of why you should gather data. And when I give you this practical example, while you will laugh at it, I want you to extrapolate it. I want you to extrapolate it into other areas of your life. So let's say, for example, ouch, give me 1 second, please. Sorry, so let's go on. I had to attend to something very quickly. So let me give you a practical example about why you should gather data. Let's say that I'm assuming that everybody here is above 18. Please, if you are under 18 here, give me a thumbs up because I don't want Wala. If you're under 18, give me a thumbs up. Reverend, you cannot be under 18. What do you mean? I said if you are under 18, if you are less than 18. So I am assuming that everybody here is above 18. Okay, thank you. If you don't say for this place, I'm a Nigerian. So please, if you don't understand broken, I can't help you at this point. If you don't say for this place, say that they don't serve you breakfast before, give me a thumbs up. Like, if you understand what's serving breakfast, if they don't serve you breakfast, like, give me a thumbs up. Yeah. God, so all of you here don't chop breakfast. Like, if you don't understand what chopping breakfast, let me speak it in good English. If they've ever broken your heart in a relationship before, give me a thumbs up. Okay. Now, I'm assuming that a lot, Reverend, even you don't chop breakfast. Oh, dear Father. Okay. Then I said plenty. Oh, sorry, my darling. Sorry. Okay. Now that we are all here, I say we don't all chop breakfast. When they served you breakfast, after that, and then you decided to give love a chance again, or whether it wasn't love, just decided to give relationship a chance, because you cannot stay alone in this life. And so you decided to give another relationship a chance. What was the first thing you did before you accepted the next person? Just type it in the chat. What was the first thing you did? Or if it wasn't you, say person don't chop breakfast, and then they're about to, maybe after 2 years or 3 years, they felt they've healed and it's time to get into another relationship. Okay, what do you think they will do before they accept the new person? Church is not running mad. Okay. Because of my time, what they will do before they accept the next person is that in their head, because they've had their brain has collected data about a bad experience. Let's say that that's the first person, say for a lady, I'm a lady, the first person you used to, you like somebody who calls you, who checks in on you, who who shows that they really care, that they shouldn't go a whole day without checking in on you. And then if they don't check in on you, you decide to be checking in on them. And then the more you check on them, they now start saying that you are too needy, you are too controlling, you are all of that. And then that relationship ended. If you're going to go into another relationship, the first thing you will do is to ensure that this person is somebody who is willing to communicate. Why would you do that? Because when you had that bad experience, your brain gathered data about a bad experience. So when you're about to go into a new relationship, it processes that data and it becomes information that you will try to ensure that you get from the new person before you proceed. So that is why I say, please gather data. Pay attention to things around you. Pay attention to numbers. Pay attention to behaviors. Pay attention to quality. Pay attention to quantity. Pay attention to people. Pay attention to things. Gather data. Even in your spiritual journey, when you go to church, gather data. Because you do not know when you will need it. You need to have solid facts and figures. You see, for those of us who are Nigerians, one of the things that a lot of people have against P2B is that each time he comes to talk about our presidential candidate in the last election, was that he was always calling numbers. In Zimbabwe, 13%, 5,500 and this one, 10,100 and that one. That numbers, it sets you apart. Having that level of knowledge, and when you're talking, you talk with confidence. So please, if you don't get anything from this session, gather data. Whether you end up being a data analyst or not, gather data. Whether you end up analyzing data or not, gather data. So that as a person, you're not running on emotions. You're not running on assumptions. You're not running on hearsay. You're running on first-hand information. Okay, I'll go back now to continue with my slide. So that's what this is about. Whatever you do in this life, please gather data. So let's get straight into the data ecosystem. I am assuming again that all of us who've been here, we are here because we want to become data analysts. But after this slide, I've had a lot of people, like I said before, come back to say, I'm not sure this analyst thing is for me. So let's see the people who are within the data, what I call the modern data ecosystem, and how they use data. If you went to primary school, which I assume you did, and secondary school, your ecosystem should not be something new to you. What makes up an ecosystem? Please go back and Google it. But it's like a group of people who have relatable behaviors or related interests. So they share a habitat, they share an environment, but they get different things from the environment. So in the data ecosystem, we have the data architecture, data engineering, data analysis, data science, business analysis, and project management. All of these people, they make use of data, but they make use of data in different ways. Let's look at the data architects. Now, I want you to have a picture of building a house. So let's say you want to build a house. What's the first thing you do? You get a data architect to do what? To draw the map for you, to give you a blueprint of what you want to do, to define what should be where and why that should be there. So within every organization, before even they begin to collect data, there needs to be a data architect who comes and defines the blueprint of the data for that organization, defining what works best, what kind of data should be collected, why that kind of data should be collected, what kind of infrastructure or technology would be useful for that data, what will work best for that, defining the strategy that that organization needs to have in place before they even begin to collect data. So that's what the job of the data architect is. So within the data ecosystem, there's not just data analysts. There is first the data architect, and their job is defining and developing procedures and policies and deciding on what technologies will best suit any organization before even they start collecting and storing data. Now, when that blueprint is laid out, just like the map, yes, just like the map that your architect gives to you before you begin to build a house, it gives you the whole picture of what the data flow of the organization would look like. We don't have the data engineers who do the engineering. And just like our regular engineers, what do? They build pipelines to ensure that that data is able to move from point A to point B. Another good example, typical example is, I'm sure every single person in this call has filled a form online at one point or another. If you have never filled a form at one point or another, I'm not sure you're living in 2026. If you're living in 2026, you must have filled a form online at one point in your life. So what happens when you fill that form? You fill that form and then you get a space where they say name, first name, last name, age, blah, blah, blah. So you fill them all out. And then what next happens? You expect that when you now go to that organization, they will be able to do something on their laptop, bam, 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 and then your name will come out. I had a friend who traveled last year to go get married. And so just like he's like me, we are like overthinkers, over planners. He had everything planned out. His local flights booked, his hotels booked. He was going to stay in like different hotels at different times. He had all of them booked, even from the UK. You know, he made calls for his Uber and everything. So the hotels that he booked, he went to their website, filled in his information, and then, you know, even paid. But when he got home to Nigeria, went back to the city, and then went in to check in, and they were telling him, we cannot see your, are you sure that you paid? You see? So when he called to tell me, Dave, can you see this kind of nonsense that's going on? I told him, Chai, a data engineer did not do their job well. So when you fill a form online, you expect that when you go to the organization, they will have your data there. Does it magically appear? No. When you have a borehole in your house, you know that overhead tank that you have when you have a borehole. So NEPA brings light. Apologies to those who are not Nigerians. NEPA, is it? People will give us lighting. I don't know. Is this your NEPA? I'm not sure. So when NEPA brings light, or you use your generator and then you go pump water, water goes into your overhead tank here. The fact that there is water in your overhead tank doesn't mean that water will flow into your house. For water to flow into your house, there has to be a pipe or a connection between that overhead tank and your bathroom and your kitchen and your toilet and your room to everywhere. The same thing with the data. The fact that you have put in your data on that online system does not mean it will magically appear in the database of that organization. There has to be a pipeline, there has to be a pathway for it to move into that place. That's what the data engineer does. So to make sure that the data comes in and that the data is usable to the organization. When that data comes in, it is stored in whatever architecture or architectural framework that the data architect has laid down that the data will be stored in. Maybe an Excel workbook, maybe a SQL database, maybe a cloud storage system, wherever it is been agreed the data goes into, the data engineer makes sure it goes in. So when it goes in there, there is then the data analyst who, remember what we said before about data, when that data comes in, it is raw. It doesn't make sense. It's just like, sorry again, I'm Nigerian, and apologies to all my Ghana and China people if I can't use no, a lot of people from your area. One man we know very well that has good vibes in Nigeria is a man we call Tony Elumelu. Now imagine that Tony Elumelu, who is the head of the UBA group. Let's imagine that Tony wants to find out how many people. Oh, sorry. Oh, you didn't get to tell me. I didn't put this in full. Let's find out that Tony wants to find out how many customers do we have in the UBA group. Can you all still hear me? Mr. Matthew, can you say yes or no? Because I can't see the charts now.
Yes.
Yes, it's loud and clear.
Good. So let's say that Mr.
Yeah.
Tony Elumelu, the head of UBA, wants to find out how many customers does UBA group have. And then let's say they have a data analyst. And the data analyst comes carrying their laptop and comes showing him a spreadsheet of 1 million people. Like showing him spreadsheets that has 1 million rows and probably 20 columns. Do you think Mr. Tony Elumelu would be able to make sense of that? Just tell me in the chat, thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you think he'll be able to make sense of that? No, he won't be able to make sense of it. The only thing that will make that rows and columns make sense to Mr. Tome Elumelu is that a data analyst or anybody who has that role takes that data, sits down with it, digests it, breaks it down, and brings it in a form that is consumable, either in the form of charts or in the form of dashboards or in the form of aggregated numbers. That is when Mr. Tony can then look at those numbers and say, this number, what is the difference between this number and what we had last year? And they'll say, oh, it was like we had between 2024 and 2025, we had like a 25% increase in our user base. And you'll say, that's the work of the data analyst. They make sense of the organization's data by answering business questions that support decision making. Let's say that UBA Group again wants to open a branch in, let's say, Tanzania. They might already have a branch there. That group is just a lot. But let's say they want to open a business in Tanzania. They need someone to sit down with their data in neighboring countries of Tanzania to find out what kind of business, what kind of model, business banking model do they run there, and what are their numbers. A business analyst or a project manager might do that, but they need a data analyst to sit down to make sense of those numbers once they have the data, so that they can now make a better decision on how to proceed in Tanzania. Now, after the data analyst, we have another group of similar related people called the data scientists, who do the work of the data analyst, who do something similar to the data analyst, but not what the data analyst does. So the data analyst answers the question, this is what has happened. And then the organization could now say, okay, this is what we can do based on what has happened. Data science says, this is what will happen. So if you're able to do predictive analysis, you're able to use machine learning, like probably Python Prophet, or Arima, Sarimax, all of those models, both either predictive models or machine learning models, to say, based on what we know, in the next 5 years, this is what is going to happen. Just like weather forecast. If you listen to BBC or whatever, news outlet, when they have the weather forecast, someone comes to say, in this week, we're expecting that the weather is going to be foggy, it's going to be this, blah, 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 all of that. How do they do it? Forecasting. A data scientist has sat down to say, based on what we know before, this is what is going to happen in the future. So they use statistical models, they use machine learnings, and manipulate the data to make predictions about the future. And these predictions, I don't know, those of us who use Netflix, if you open Netflix sometimes, it tells you, because you watched this, you might like this. Those of us who use Amazon, you buy one thing and then it tells you, people who bought this also bought this. Predictive analysis, data science. Now, the next people in the ecosystem are the business analysts who do business analysis. So what do they do? After data architect has done their job, lay down blueprint, data engineer, make sure the data comes in, data analyst analyzes data, data scientist makes predictions. The business analyst and sometimes the project. Can we please mute your mic? Mute your.
Can you please mute the mic, please?
Mr. Matthew, can you mute everyone, please? So the business analyst then sits down with this information and then tries to identify areas that need changing, areas that need improving, areas that would give the business competitive advantage. So we can see that these are the different people who use data within the data ecosystem, but use it differently. Please, if you are ZigoSense, please could you mute your mic? If you do not mute your mic, we may have to let you out of the room and then you can come back later. Zigosent, please mute your mic. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Hey,
Thank you very much. Awesome. So do we understand the data ecosystem and the different people who make use of data within that ecosystem and how they make use of it? From the data architect, from data architecture to data engineering, to data analysis, to data science, to business intelligence. Perfect. Thank you very much. I have 10 more minutes before my baby comes looking for me. Okay, so let's speed up now. I like this class. Now, I assume at this point that some of us are beginning to think, do I still want to do data analysis? I'm not sure. Maybe some of us are beginning to think, maybe I want to become a data architect. Maybe what I really want to do is data engineering. Maybe what I want to do is business analysis, and that's fine. But let's focus on the business why we came. The data analysts, actions they take, and the tools they use. So basically your day, a day in the life of a data analyst, you extract data, you manipulate and analyze it, you visualize and report it. Chicken is not harder than this. Very simple, very simple. Extract data, manipulate, analyze, visualize, and report. Sweet, very sweet job. So now, what does it mean what tools do you need to extract data? Remember that the data engineer has led pipelines. And just like in that organization, you went in and you put in your data, it goes into somewhere. Someone has to go into that somewhere that data has gone into to check it out and then begin to make it make sense. That's what the data analyst does. So for most data mature organizations, because every organization has different levels of data maturity. So depending on the maturity level, the standard is to have your data in a SQL database. SQL means structured query language, if I remember correctly. So that's where, and there are different kinds of SQL, databases, MySQL, Postgres, different kinds of, SQL databases. Data could also be, so if it's stored there, the data analyst now goes there using SQL syntax, which you will learn from DaHel to get the data. You could also get data using using Python libraries from websites and so on, from databases. You can actually plug your Python library to a database and get data from there. You can also get data, scrape data directly from websites using libraries like Beautiful Soup and stuff like that. You can also get data in Excel or CSV forms. So let's say that the website where your data is hosted, for example, if it's hosted on something like a WordPress, there could be a GUI, that's graphic user interface, where all you need to do is click on something and then it exports the data for you as an Excel or CSV file. And again, the data that you collect could be structured or unstructured. Now, I am sure, except anything has changed, Mr. Matthew, you'd correct me after this, most of the data you're going to be working with in your training would be structured data. So structured data is data that is tabular, that has come in rows and columns. So, but that's not all there is to data. For example, I've been speaking for nearly 1 hour now, have I? And every single thing I've been saying is data, but it's not structured. It's in voice form. So data could be audio, it could be video, it could be behavioral. Again, if you've been watching me, because I intentionally always keep my video on, I feel like I connect a lot with that. Now, if you are a behavioral scientist, or like me in my doctoral work, I'm more of a qualitative researcher. So if you're a qualitative researcher like me, you would pay attention to even mannerisms. That's something I've learned when I did a course in communication, how to speak. When I sit before someone and the person is speaking to me, I'm not just listening to what they're saying, I'm reading their body. When I see the way that no matter how much words are flowing from their mouth, I look at their eyes, I look at their hands, where their hands are. Your hand position says something about how you're feeling in the inside. So all of that thing they're all data. So sometimes, like in my job, I also deal with unstructured data, texts. So for example, there are some forms you would fill and the answer is not yes or no. you will need to write. And when you write, you're writing text, you're writing words. There is a way to analyze that and present it either as a word cloud or use there's an Excel formula, regex, a regex Excel function, you might learn that or not, that you use to analyze texts, to find out what are the keywords in this. You could analyze videos. I'm currently working on a paper on using what we call EMG to test people as a diagnostic tool for Parkinson disease patients. So people who have Parkinson disease, you know that it's a physiological disease that affects muscles, and so sometimes their muscles are stiff and they can't respond to things the way they should. And so in that paper, I'm doing a meta-analysis for the paper, and the EMG tools they are using is trying to measure facial movements. That's data. So some data could come unstructured, depending on where you find yourself. You still need to get that. So, for example, this class we have in, if DaHel or Shepherd Technology decides to take the recording afterwards and to look into it, it's unstructured data because it's not coming in columns and rows. So your data could be structured or unstructured. You will learn how to analyze all of that. Now, when you have your data, it's raw. You have to manipulate it to get information from that. And the tools you use is, again, you could use SQL to do that. There are different SQL syntax that you write to gain insights from your data. Your select statements, your where, having, you know, counts, all of that to help you manipulate and get information from the data. You could also use Python to do your work. In my work as well, when I get my data, I have automated all of my heavy transformations with Python. So all I need to do is click a button and all of my transformation is done. And then I can spend more time doing getting insights, looking at what the insights are saying. You can also do your data manipulation analysis in Microsoft Excel. In fact, most organizations, 90% of organizations still use Microsoft Excel in their analysis, and you're going to learn that in DaHel Techies. Now, when you have done your manipulation and analyzed your data, you need to be able to present it in a way that non-technical people would understand it. So that's why you need to visualize it. So by visualizing, we are saying, take it away from being numbers, take it away from being facts, and make it to be something I can see. Give me a picture. They say a picture tells a thousand words. So visualizing simply means, please give me a picture. It could be a chart, it could be a table, it could be a word cloud, it could be anything. So you can use tools like Tableau, Power BI, or even Excel to create dashboards or even single charts to tell that story. For example, you want to report something about age range of people in your class or in your church or in your organization. So you group them into 18 to 25 years, 26 to 45 years, 46 to 70 years. Instead of reeling out those numbers, you simply put in a column chart or a bar chart or a pie chart, and someone looks at it once and then they know exactly what you're saying. So that's what we mean by visualization. And for some people, when you use dashboards, it makes the data interactive, so they can begin to click. You will see all of that when you start your training. And then for some organizations or for some instances, you actually could put in your charts or your reports in a PowerPoint, just like what you have here. The difference is that it might not be interactive, it will be a static report, and it is okay, depending on what the organization needs. Another thing you also need to know when it comes to your visualizations is that there's a difference between facts and insights. So for most data analysts, they end up giving lots of facts and no insights. You will learn all of that, I'm assuming, during your course. So as a data analyst, when you get into the job, this is what your day will look like. Does this make sense? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Does this make sense? Do we understand this? Is there anybody who is not following? Absolutely. I have 2 minutes to go. Okay. my baby is almost here. The elder brother had to stop him because we know our bedtime. Okay, so to round up straight away, I'm going to now go into the next slide, which is talking about after your training, what next? A lot of people now feel like, because I know that the reason why you've come here is that you've heard that data is the next oil well. So you're here to begin to mine the oil. You're already looking at getting a job that pays $50,000. Amen. You will get that in Jesus' name. Amen. I believe you will. There is still a lot more to be done after you have done your training. The first thing is that, let's say you are a teacher and then you want to switch careers from being a teacher to become a data analyst. You need to create a portfolio. When I say portfolio, I liken it to, I don't know the age range of those who are here, but I'm 40 plus. In fact, I was 40 last year, so this year I'll be 41. Our fathers had this box they used to carry that contained all of their information. For some of them, if you touch their box, you'll be in trouble. Does anybody know that box our fathers used to carry in those days? Some of them could be black, some of them could be silver. Some of them call it, what do they call it in your time? Portmanteau, I'll be waiting. Or my daddy used to call it portfolio. You see, so they carry that briefcase and thank you, son, the briefcase. Yes. So they carry that briefcase, and in that briefcase, yeah, I knew somebody would say that. So in that briefcase, what is usually inside it is usually everything that is very important to them. For my Igbo brothers who are in the market in Alaba or in Onitsha market, you see them put this small purse in their armpits. Nobody jokes with that. Nobody jokes with that purse, because in that purse is all the major information they need about their business. The same thing happens to you. You need to have your own portfolio when you are done with your training. Very important. Now, one of the sessions you're going to be going through when you start your training is called a portfolio creation session, and that's amazing. The hard takers may not like what I'm about to say, but I'll say it anyway because I am a coach. You're going to be taught portfolio creation, and so probably create a GitHub account or a back end in the Google Suite where you'd save all of that. It's fantastic. It's great. But I have a logic, and my logic is, if I take all of everything I have and put in my portfolio and save it in one website, who is going to see it there? I don't know. But my logic to you, which is what I tell everybody I coach, is put your portfolio in my damn face. In your portfolio, you have your resume, you have the projects. So your resume says, this is what I can do. Your project says, this is what I have done. Your LinkedIn profile, your social media presence, these are your portfolio. So you need to go back and reconfigure your resume from being a teacher to being a data analyst, if that's what you want to be at the end of the training. From being a beautician to being a data analyst, or being a data scientist, or being whatever it is you want to be. You need to recreate that resume. Then you have your projects ready. They don't have to be huge. They just have to be things that you have done that you can show that this is what I have done. Therefore, if I have done this, then you're telling the marketer or the potential employer, if I have done this, then I can do this for you. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, today is a good day to create one, or after this session, because that is part of your portfolio. I believe in using your LinkedIn profile and your social media as your portfolio, your major portfolio showcase place. I advocate for that. But if you don't like that, that's absolutely fine. Please create a website, put it all there, and share the link with others. But I strongly advocate, put your portfolio, put your projects, put your resume in the faces of those you want to see them. And a place to do that is using your LinkedIn profile and your social media presence. So if your LinkedIn profile is looking like a forest, or is looking like an antique, or is looking like something that has been forgotten. Please, it's time to revive it in Jesus' name. So please go and revive your LinkedIn profile. If all you do with your social media, your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, if all you do there is carrying all the latest gist in the world, please go and start cleaning it up. Especially if you know you're going to be looking for a job after now. Go and start cleaning it up so that you can be using it to project yourself for who you are. Now, why do you need to do that? You need to do that because you need to start creating your own personal and professional brand. Yes. You need to realize that I don't want to start selling all of my coaching stuff here, Beck. So you need to be able to create a brand for yourself. Who are you? You need to be able to define that. In defining that, you're going to be communicating what value you bring as a person, as a professional, as an individual, as an employee. Who are you? I know that a lot of people can't even answer this question for themselves. And if you cannot answer this question, someone was asked, I watched a video where someone was asked, who are you? And she said, I'm a mom, I'm a mother, I'm a wife. And I'm like, oh dear Father, she doesn't know who she is. She's just mentioning her duties. She's mentioning her responsibilities. That is not who she is. Who are you? How do you want to be seen? These are two things you need to sit down and work out for yourself. And if you can't work it out, what am I here for? Then in your personal and professional branding, you need to be able to network with like brands. And you know, we are used to when we say brands, you start thinking about fashion brands. You are a brand. Chimdi Nma is a brand. Now me know as I want to carry my brand. And as I keep growing, I keep evaluating this brand. I keep adjusting. As I keep learning, I keep improving. I keep adjusting. I keep twerking. I keep adding value. I keep getting better. Now, when I have my portfolio created and I have created my brand, I need to sell it. You see, one thing we were not taught in school is how to sell. We think that selling or marketing is for those who studied marketing or commercials. That's not true. We are all selling something. The moment you've come for this training, and then you get the skills, you're not going to sit with it now. You need to sell it, or else it's of no value to you. The money you paid to acquire the skill will be of no value to you if you don't sell it. So when you learn Excel, you need to sell it. When you switch from being unemployed to become a data analyst, you need to sell your brand. So how do you sell it? You communicate it. You talk about you. You share what you have. You carry your market for your head. Be your own ambassador. Scream it at the top of your voice. Let everybody who needs to know. Create flyers. Create what do you call it? Cards. Talk about what you do. Speak the language of the data analyst. Speak the language of the data scientist. Learn from other people. When you go on LinkedIn, find like minds, people who are within your ecosystem. See what they do. Improve on yourself. Learn. Use YouTube. Use Coursera. Apply for grants. Learn. Market your brand. Now, when you have created your portfolio and you've created your brand and you're marketing it, that's when you are now ready to get your first job. And to get your first job, you need to be able to set application goals. I say this every single time. Applying for a job is a full-time job. I'll say that again. Applying for a job is a full-time job. Until you start, you would understand. And when you're applying for the job, it's not just about throwing your resume or throwing your portfolio up and down. You need to be able to make ATS compliant applications, because most organizations now, when you send in your resume, it first goes to a robot. And you know a robot now, it's not a human being. It does not have feelings. It only knows what it's been programmed to do. So if your resume is not programmed with what the ATS has been programmed. ATS stands for Application Tracking System. If it has not been programmed with the words that are in your resume, it will just kick you out. In fact, data has it that only 25% of all applications land on the table of the recruiter. What this means in simple numbers is if 100 people apply for a job, the computer will screen out 75 people, and it will only present 25 people to the interviewer. So you don't want your resume to be among the 75 that will be thrown away. And in that 25 that will land at the table of the recruiter, it takes the recruiter less than 60 seconds to decide on whether they want to progress with your resume or not. Less than 60 seconds. So you see why your resume and your projects need to be on point. Every single thing is important. Then when you have applied, so when I talk about application goals, there's a lot of things, you need to plan how you apply, plan where you apply, determine what kind of application you need to do. All of those things are inside the application goals. Now, when you start getting interviews, interview skills are something you need to acquire. I've realized that the people who get the job are not the most qualified people for the job. They are the people who prepared the most for the job. And how do you prepare the most for the job? You have to sharpen your interview skills. When they ask you, tell me about yourself, how do you answer? What do you say? You need to sharpen your interview skills. When you've gone past interview level and then you get your offer, your first offer, amazing. Some people out of desperation take whatever it is they're offered. Let me give you one very simple hack I have realized and that I use. Statistics has it that more than 65, what was the number again? Yes, it has it that only about 35% of people negotiate their offer. Only about 35% of people negotiate their offer. What this means is that whatever any organization presents to you is their lowest possible offer. There is more, but only if you negotiate. So how does DaHel Technologies come in? To help you to get ready with all of this, we provide you with two kinds of support. The job readiness support, which is the group support, and also a one-to-one coaching and mentorship if you like. Both groups provide the same thing, which is portfolio creation, personal and professional branding, marketing, helping you land your first role. The difference is that with the job readiness group, it's a group session, so everyone is there. Just like here, we are talking to you as a group. And the one-to-one is just you with your mentor, which can be me or anyone else that you've been assigned to. So this is something you need to look out for if you're interested in and subscribe to it. DaHel Technologies also has, we also have Tech Clarity Group that will also help you to get ready into your new role. And so as I sum up, I have this quote that I always share, that if all you see now is all you can see, then there is so much more that you are blind to. Because when it comes to data, all you see cannot be all there is to be seen. And even in your life right now, if all you are right now is all you can see about you, then there's so much more about you that you are blind to. You just need to open your eyes so that you can see even more. And with this, I say thank you very much for giving me your attention in this time. And I hope I have not wasted your time and mine. If you have any questions for me, now is the time to shoot me. But please don't shoot me too much because I'm not sure how much I can take. I'm an orphan, so please don't shoot me a lot so that I'll be able to answer. I'll just take a couple of questions if there are any, and we'll go it from there. Oops. Okay. Do I have any questions? Okay, so I have some hands up. Chidinma Abu, do you want to unmute your microphone and ask your question?
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
My question is because I told someone I had applied for this data analysis class, and she was like, "Is it not saturated? And there are AIs doing the job these days." So I want to ask if is like, am I going to get a job after the class? Or is AI going to do my job? Let me know.
I want you to do a very simple thing for me. Do you have a phone, Chidinma?
Yes, ma'am.
Please go on LinkedIn. Do you have LinkedIn? Do you have a LinkedIn
Yes.
account?
Yes, I
Please
do.
go on LinkedIn and on the search bar type data analyst jobs and tell me how many jobs popped up there. Then when you're done with that, just go on Google, regular Google, and type data analyst jobs. I think that should answer your question. You see, people will always project their fears on you. It's up to you to decide what you want to do and what you don't want to do. In case it helps you, I took this training with DaHel Technologies in 2021. Yeah. Yes, I think. Or 2020, early 2022, yes, January 2022. And that was after I had about 11 years work experience as a biomedical scientist. And when I took the training, I didn't take the training because I was looking for a job. I took the training because my situation changed and I needed to keep myself busy. So I was unemployed at the time. In fact, I had a baby, so no need to hide it. I had a baby and I was unemployed. So I needed to while away time. That was how I took this class. And just like you, someone said to me, do you think that this thing you've done in 8 weeks is going to get you a job? You never see job for one where you get experience for 11 years. And this one where you don't do in 8 weeks. Now you won't take the job. Someone very close to me said, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but someone very close to me said that to me. But if it helps you, I finished my training in May of the year. And by June, I had my first offer. In July, I got my first job. In September, I started my second job. And in April the next year, I got my third job. And within a space of 3 years, I've moved from entry to become a senior data analyst. And I'm looking at the CDO role. So relax, babe. Don't allow anybody to tell you anything. Now you sabi where you want to go. So keep your eyes fixed on where you want to be and forget naysayers. Then on the question of, will AI do your job? Short answer, no. Long answer, yes. Because the person the analyst or anybody at all who AI will take their jobs are people who do not know how to use AI to do their jobs. So what you need to do, know how to use AI to do your job, and AI will not take your job. I mean, AI cannot understand data. It can only analyze data. It can only give you facts about data. It cannot give you insights. Remember, I talked about facts and talked about insights. Insight is context dependent. You need to understand what has happened in the data for you to be able to give insights. You need to understand that certain numbers are outliers or that certain numbers are as a result of certain activities. It is only the data analyst who sits with the data that can say, this result that this AI is giving me is not correct. It is contextual. So you need to train yourself to understand the context of data, and no AI in this world can get the context of your data. It can only get the context if you feed it with it. So no, AI will only take your job when you do not know how to use AI to do your job. Thank you very much. I hope that answers your question, Chidinma. Never do me job.
Thank you.
Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Ijoma.
So much for this class. It was very, very insightful. My question is, I'm a graduate of microbiology, and I'm looking forward to apply for fully funded scholarship to study in the US, Canada, or even in the UK. So, and I want to upgrade my profile because I just have one paper, which was the project I did while I was still in the university. So, I want to do more so that my resume, my CV is rich. So that was why I opted for this data analytics class. And from the watch the this thing you listed, the five people that work with data in the data ecosystem. So I'm thinking, I want to know, is focusing on data science beneficial to me more, looking at my field of study, microbiology, biotechnology. Is I want to know if you advise me to focus on data science.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that question. Data is applicable everywhere. If you listen to when my bio was read, my background is in biomedical sciences as well. So, and I've switched careers to this point. So data is applicable everywhere. On the question of whether you should move to data science, that's a more bespoke thing. Before I can answer that question, I need to get more context about who you are and why you want to move into that area. So there are a lot of things that you have to factor into before you can decide on where you want to go to or not. So there's just so much of, like, including your personality. So it's not just about what you think is applicable to your career. You also need to connect your personality to it, because there's no point getting a job that pays you well and you're miserable doing it. I don't advocate for that. It's not wholesome. It's not healthy. So I think it would benefit from a one-to-one session to be able to dissect that more and understand it. But on the surface, data is applicable to everywhere. And even making your resume look better, if you just add that you know how to do regression or multivariate analysis, which you should learn with Microsoft Excel. You're already going places, because with Excel you can do your ANOVA, you can do your t-test, you can do your Pearson correlation, you can do every single multivariate analysis can be done in Excel, even though there are higher tools that you can use for those. So if you know how to use Excel very well, it's already a plus for you, because it means that you can analyze, you understand data, you are data literate and data fluent, and then you can handle that. So I think this place is a plus for you. But about what to pursue going forward, that's a more in-depth discussion that needs to be done, over a session. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you, ma'am.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Is there any other person with a question? My baby is hovering around because it's bedtime now. Do we have any other question? I think not. Is there anyone? Okay. So in the absence of any other question, I want to ask a final question. Do you think you got value from this session? I want to see a thumbs up, a thumbs down. Please feel free to give me a thumbs down. And if you feel that there's anything I said that you didn't understand that needs more explanation, please just let me know. All these thumbs up people, I beg, shift. I'm looking for thumbs down, I beg. These are the people. Please, Collins is giving me a thumbs down. Collins, what? Mary, please, what didn't you understand? What did you not understand? Mary, can you unmute? Or was that an error?
It's an error. I wanted to do something.
Reverend, you're looking for my trouble, oh. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. I hope you got value for your time, and it was an absolute delight spending this evening with you. And I am hoping that whatever it is that you're looking forward to that has made you pay money or bring your time to get into this session, may the good Lord make sure, I know He will, because he doesn't have a choice. He will see you through. And one last thing before I go. When you start off, you're going to start enjoying it. Excel will look exciting and your spirit will be high. And then when you get into SQL, you'll be like, That's where a lot of people drop off. But I pray for you. You will not drop off. You will hang on. You will go through it and you will graduate in Jesus' name. So please, when you encounter that area that gets difficult, even in the Excel, when you start with the simple statistics, sum, count, blah, it will be exciting. When you now start going into X lookup, V lookup, joins, and if statements, it starts looking weird. But I want you to always remember this. When it gets difficult, put your hand on your chest, close your eyes, and say to yourself, it's not difficult. It's just new. If I keep at it, I will get used to it. I'll say it again. When it gets difficult, put your hand on your chest, close your eyes, and say to yourself, it is not difficult. It's just new. If I hang on with it, I will get used to it. And I promise you, you will make it through. All right. Thank you so very much. God bless you. This is me signing out. And if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, please feel free. My name is Chimdi Nma. I'll type it in the comment section. I am on Facebook, but I am on Facebook leave currently, so you won't see me there. My account is deactivated. But whenever I come back on, you will see me. So follow me on LinkedIn, follow me on TikTok, follow me wherever it is you want to. And if you don't want to, I'll see you whenever I see you. So if you book a session with DaHel Techies, you will definitely come in contact with me and I will be happy to see you then. Until then, thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow, very, very insightful. Very, very insightful. I hope you've gained a lot. You can give a thumbs up if you had a very good class today. Can give a thumbs up for Madam Chimdi Nma. Yeah, it's very, very insightful. And I hope you've learned a lot. You know a lot about data, the importance of being a data analyst, your job role, and how it is actually booming in the world globally. In the field of the businesses, health centers, government agencies. And he made more example using teachers and the medical field. And I was very glad. And he went down to the beginner's level by giving an example about a fruit seller who doesn't know how to go about his daily runnings. And he was being asked to know which type of fruit goes faster and her daily income. And he wasn't able to, unless he tried to explain to her to just go to the board, just pick a pen and paper and try to be listing up the product that have been sold each day. And he was able to make decisions out of what he has been doing daily. And it shows you data is everywhere. Even in our kitchen, in our daily life, what you'll be doing for the day, you need to be jotting them down, plan. When you have this to-do list, it will help you to know where you're going to shape your future. So data is everywhere, not particularly like to seek for job, but to help you shaping your life. And I'm very impressed that everyone also learned a lot. And I think by the close of this 3-day training, which on 31st, you have a practical data Excel would give us a very good overview about the whole data analysis journey. And as he said you shouldn't give up. You should put your hand on your chest and say, it is not difficult. It's just new to me. And I hope you overcome. And from now on, start thinking about being data analyst, being your own boss. You also start to be creating and get jobs online remotely. Start creating portfolios, practicing, and you'll be there. It is not difficult, as she said, and I love her delivery. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bro Matthew, are you there? Please.
Yeah, I'm still here. I
Oh, okay.
think we'll call it a wrap now. I want to thank everyone for joining and particularly for staying. I know it wasn't a session you would love to go, but this is just tips of the iceberg. we have more to
Sure.
deliver. And as Mr. Collins have already mentioned, the next will be on the 31st of January, the last day of January. So it is not going to be just soft key, only PowerPoint presentation, just listening and writing. It is going to be something more serious. You've heard her say a whole lot of stuff around Sheets, Excel, SQL, and all of those things. So now is the time to get our hands dirty. All right. So starting from the next class, the instructor will be introduced to us in the course of the week. Um, the recordings tool of the two sessions we've had between I think for the Nigerian audience yesterday and today will also be shared in our respective group. So we maybe go through it, prepare ourselves for the next class. Our first technical class will be on Excel, how to use Excel. So it's also going to be another amazing class. You'll be meeting another wonderful instructor. Hope you you will not want to miss it. So same time next week Saturday, we'll be having our first Excel session. So get your system ready, come prepared for class early, and also be ready for another impact. I'm seeing somebody raising their hands. Linda, you want to say something?
All right. Thank you so much. Good evening. So mine is a question. I just wanted to know whether we are going to get the slides for this session, the PowerPoint. Thank you.
Okay. What I know is the recordings that have the slide will be shared in all of the groups, so you still have opportunity to um look at whatsoever you've learned here. So if you want to make a screenshot during your personal study hour, you're free to make those screenshots from the presentation. But getting the slide is something I cannot assure you on this call. But for the recordings, you will definitely get it, and not just maybe have something to look at, but have something to listen to again to refresh your memory of all of what you've been taught this evening. Okay, Tosin, your hand is up.
Yeah, thank you for today's session. And my question is yesterday I missed the section, but I was able to go through the recorded session that was sent to the group, which is quite good. And I want to ask because next week, Saturday, I will not be available. So I want to ask the next week Saturday session will it be recorded and sent to the group? And also, is the class scheduled for Saturdays and Sundays? Because and is the time permanent? The time of the classes is it Saturdays and Sundays? And is the time fixed for 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Please, thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Mr. Tosin. Yes, and yes. If you had listened very carefully to the recordings of yesterday during the onboarding for the Nigerian audience joining this call, it was stated clearly that classes will be only for weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, same time 8 to 10 p.m. Nigerian time. And for next week too, the same audience will be joining the Ghana and the China audience too will be joining that same course. So we'll have these great numbers as well. So it's going to be the same value for both audience, and all our sessions are recorded. You have opportunity to go through um the session should in case you miss it, and the recordings are shared with students. We are recording it for students, not for ourselves. So yes. Any other inquiry or concern before we call it a wrap?
So thank you, Mr. Matthew. The last lesson I want to remember, Ghanaian people, please on 31st and 1st, 31st, as we said, will be the training. That is, you practice on the Excel, introduction to Excel, and I urge everyone to stay come along with his laptop or any smart just so that he can, have access to the Microsoft Excel and just try to follow it along. And this one will be fully practical. And I wish everyone who had a feel, like as my brother said, you make our hands dirty. See you and thanks for your time. And we wish we could get there. Thank you, everyone. And my Nigerian brothers too, thank you for joining. And we wish you all the best as we embark on this journey. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, I think with that we come to the end of today's session. Thank you so much, and do have an amazing night rest.
Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye-bye. So
bye.
Thank you and bye.
Bye bye.